Since I had a lot of fun with the Weaponizer Slammer, I thought I'd pick up another toy with the same kind of gimmick, but one that did it a little differently. So I ended up with Wingfinger here. Why Wingfinger in particular? Well, he was the one they had in the shop, he was about 25% off, he's incredibly weird, and his name is Wingfinger. I know one day I'll get bored of saying the name Wingfinger, but today is not that day. Wingfinger was released last year in the War for Cybertron Kingdom line, and as you can see, his alt mode is a Pteranodon skeleton. Although it is a little strange that his hips and ribs seem to have swapped places, but I don't know enough about Pteranodons to say if that's normal or not. For a beast mode, he's got quite a lot of posability, only slightly hindered by the neck and jaw joints latching in with such violence that it renders a lot of more subtle posing of those nearly impossible. Also, as an interesting little bit of trivia, a small head crest is indicative of a female Pteranodon, but in the tiny amount Thingwinger here has actually been talked about officially, he's always had male pronouns. Although I assume that's just a mistake on Hasbro's part, I still stan a trans icon. Also, if you open his mouth like this, it looks like he's waiting for you to laugh at a joke he just told, which is worth the price of admission alone. Anyway, time to rip this bugger apart and reassemble him. So yeah, Wingfinger is a fossilizer, and like the previous weaponizers, to transform him you take him to pieces and then reassemble him in a different order. And the basic robot is, well, it's this? He's so skinny and oddly proportioned, and how his little ill-defined face appears from underneath his Maximal badge, because yeah, he's a Maximal if you were wondering, is very unusual. All this combined with him being quite tall for a deluxe means that he takes on a kind of cryptid vibe, like he's the Cybertronian version of the Slendered Man. With him in his basic robot mode, there's a few bits left over and it's sort of up to you to figure out what you want to do with them. The ends of the wings can be wielded as swords or pegged into the back of his arms, although the pegs on mine are a bit small so it's pretty loose, and the big skull can be fitted to his back or used as an ill-defined weapon. The surprising thing about this gangly figure is that, despite how weird he looks, he actually poses incredibly well. I suppose the lack of bulk means that he's quite light and his unusual feet make him pretty stable. Plus, he doesn't have many problems with bits of his body getting in the way because there's not much body to speak of. This allows you to fully enjoy his articulation, which is pretty good, even if the nature of the toy does mean that some parts are prone to falling off occasionally. You can even move some stuff around to give him some digitigrade legs if you like. I don't know if it's good, but I am glad you can do it. Honestly, I really wasn't expecting much from this robot mode, so the fact that he can pull off these outrageous poses was a pleasant surprise. I expected to like him because he's a bit crap and was called Wingfinger. I didn't expect him to have actual redeeming qualities. Like the weaponizers, the Disassembled Parts can also be used as weaponry or armour for other bots with compatible 5mm ports, and his skeletal nature makes some weird, possibly blasphemous things possible. He also has this extra piece that pops off the back of his skull that's left out of the instructions. It's apparently intended as a head for any combiner you want to try and make, which is a nice touch since if you get more than one of these kinds of toys, you're gonna try and find interesting ways to mix and match the parts. Or try to see if it's possible to use every single piece of both on another figure. Or, I don't know, make whatever this is. The only problem is that since it's only friction holding these parts together, some pegs and holes don't fit as securely as I'd like. This happens on Transformers weapons all the time and it's usually not a big deal, but when you're trying to cobble together a monstrosity and these are the things that are holding all the weight, such things can become a major stumbling block. But that aside, Wingfinger has amused me greatly. There's too many caveats to fully recommend him, and I can't say I'm rushing out to get another fossilizer, but I do enjoy him. So as the Kingdom toy line starts to disappear from store shelves, if you do happen to find yourself a cheap Wingfinger warming a peg somewhere, and that's fairly likely, I don't think he was exactly a popular toy, then you might get some fun out of him just like I have. Although I wouldn't blame you if you didn't want something called Wingfinger in your house.